Hello, we're here today with our advocates of the National Lottery funded programme, which lasted for 2 years and is just about to finish at the end of March. So we're doing this special recording with our advocates to talk about the role of advocacy and how important it is within our society. Once we do this recording, we will be circulating it during Neurodiversity Week, along with some of the highlights of our advocates' talks during these 2 years. So it'll be circulated to our database, but also profiled on social media. So it's really exciting. Let's introduce our advocates before we start talking about some of the key elements of being an advocate. So Becky, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Becky Oxley, obviously dyslexic. Yeah, welcome.
I'm Catherine Hewlett, the manager of the project. Dee? Okay. Sadia?
Hi. Sorry. I'm here.
Dee, would you like to
Yeah.
introduce yourself?
Hi, yeah. Excuse me, I'm Dee. I'm dyslexic, dyspraxic, autistic, been part of the group for a while, and yeah, I'm an advocate.
Thank you. Sadia, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi everyone. I'm Sadia. I'm dyslexic. I have ADHD and dyscalculia as well.
And Alicia?
Hi, I'm Alicia and I am dyslexic and I have been an advocate since 2022.
Maddie?
So I'm Maddie, I'm dyslexic, and I've been part of the advocate program from the beginning. So it's been a very wonderful journey and growing for me.
And Andre?
Hi, I'm Andre. I've been part of the advocacy group for just over a year now, and I'm really enjoying it.
And Andrew?
Hi, I'm Andrew. I am proudly neurodivergent and work with disabled students for a career. And I've really enjoyed working with part of this team for coming up for about 18 months now.
Rose, would you like to introduce yourself? Okay, we'll introduce you for you. Rose is an advocate. She was an advocate in the first year in 2022, and she's an associate advocate for the second year, so she supports all the other advocates when she can. So welcome everybody, and it's wonderful to be here. We're going to start off with a prompt and a question to get the discussion rolling. The first prompt question is, I just want to throw this into the room with you all, the Zoom room. How impactful do you think the role of advocacy is? And what sort of experience have you had of the impact of it? Becky?
Yeah, I think it's extremely impactful on the fact that it gives you confidence. As I didn't mention at the beginning, I've been an advocate since it started as well. And I feel as a person, I've grown a lot more, but also I've been able to help a lot more people because I felt confident to be able to talk about things. And I've got a deeper understanding of myself because I understand that a lot of the things that I just thought I was a bit weird and a bit quirky, now I understand that actually it's just part of the condition that a lot of us have got, and it's quite normal. And I actually embrace that, and I embrace it for myself, and I'm openly telling everybody at all the different events I go to about the group and how important it is to have the confidence and not have any shame about obviously being dyslexic or neurodiverse.
Brilliant, thank you. Sadia?
I think, hello. I think for me it's been extremely impactful. I've said this before, there's something extremely magical about being in a very safe space with people that are just like you and go through the same experiences as you and understand you, and it makes your confidence grow. I've never been able to open up and relax in any other group, only because I've never really felt understood anywhere else, and here amongst fellow advocates, it's the complete opposite, and my confidence has grown a great deal. Thank you.
Thank you, Sadia. So it's about increased confidence. Alicia.
Oh, for me, I have had a deeper understanding of myself first, and then it went on to others. I've had experience myself from being a carer for my sister who suffers from mental health. And I've had to advocate her needs and how to best serve her, because I find that it's so important to make the right decisions on behalf of other people. And I do that from a heart-based standpoint to best serve her. And so far, I've done a really good job. And having that experience years ago, bringing me onto this program is actually deepened my understanding even more, and enhancing my natural abilities. And even knowing, bringing my awareness of my abilities in a positive way. So I really appreciate it. So thank you all.
Thank you, Alicia. Maddie.
For me, the program's been really inspiring in the way that I learned some more about me and how I can help other people, and have the conversation about being dyslexic that I found at the beginning of the process wasn't able to. But now it really helped me to have that conversation, and actually opened more conversation with people that understands a lot more people that are dyslexic, but we'd never talk about it. It's quite, in our work, we kind of hide behind, we can't discuss. But when you do, you go, oh yeah, that's what I do sometimes, or I've got a brain freeze, bear me a second. And that's what really helped. And then pass them on, like different talks I've done, like giving them links to the talks done in the program that made them understand a bit more. And even from being from a diverse community, trying to get them more saying it's okay as well, have that conversation with those people, because like we never really had that much conversation about being dyslexic, or there's always feel like it's a weakness, but it isn't. It's actually a strength as well that we didn't know. So this is what helped. I feel the program very good for me.
This is all very positive and uplifting. Andre.
It's given me a newfound confidence, because I had to be diagnosed twice, but either time I didn't know how to explain it to people, or I didn't even really know what the aspects of dyslexia were. So by coming to the group and hearing different things, you go, oh, that's a part of me. Yes, I get brain fog, or I get brain overload when I read too much. So now I'm very open with people, and I tell them I'm dyslexic. I kind of know my strengths and weaknesses from over the years. So at work, I can work with that. I also have a niece, and she has dyslexia, and I'm educating her on it and showing her the things I've learned from the group, and how, she can go out in life and just be as good as anybody else. She's been very upset about it. So I've been kind of advocating to her how she can do so many things so well. And she's as good as anybody else. So yeah, it's been really impactful being part of this group.
Thank you, Andre. Rose can't unmute, so she's written something in the chat, which I'm going to read out. Noticing traits and behaviours in oneself and others that may well be neurodivergent specific and are easier to be with than they once may have been, which can, if and when helpful, be commented upon or talked about, which often starts a conversation that creates a bridge between two neurodivergent conditions or people, and can help liberate a fellow ND person who may not have been able to speak about the ND profile before. So that's very, very thoughtful feedback. Thank you, Rose. Dee.
Yeah, excuse me. Hi. Yeah, I really enjoy coming to the group, excuse me, because I feel that I'm part of a community, and I feel that that's really necessary and important, because otherwise you feel quite isolated. And yeah, you can come here and people understand where you're coming from. And it's helping me to also understand myself a lot more, understand more about the conditions and other kind related conditions, neurodiverse conditions. And it's given me, a bit more courage to kind of talk about my dyslexia to people, to kind of, uh, talk about it in places maybe I wouldn't have wanted to talk about it before, like at work and things like that. So yeah, it's been really useful. I've really enjoyed it and look forward to the sessions.
Andrew.
Hi, yes. So I've really enjoyed being able to gauge other people's perspectives and also to be able to celebrate how many of us may live with comorbid conditions. So I've noticed that obviously quite a few of us have dyslexia and another disability like dyspraxia or Asperger's syndrome, autism, and it actually all needs to be celebrated. And kind of going forward, I received my MA in autism certificate actually only the other day, but being able to provide talks and get the positive social model of disability, because the disability doesn't have to be a weakness. And that's one of the key take-home messages from this group I would like to give.
Well, I think, it's fantastic what you've all been saying, and I think the commonality here is that it's has provided so much confidence and been insightful, the programme, and given you more confidence to move forward. I mean, some of you have been a bit shy, actually, about some of your achievements, and hopefully they will come out over the next few prompts and questions, because Andrew's said something about his achievement, which is great, and it might be that some of you should say something in the next stage of our discussion. But it's wonderful to know that there is actually, you feel part of a community. So the next question and prompt is, and it's a bit of a leading question really, but it's about our society and, and our place in society. And, as neurodivergent people, we are really useful people for society because we have so many strengths, as Andrew said. Where do you think advocacy is placed in society? How important do you think it is as a role, particularly now, since COVID? I'll start with Maddie, actually.
How did I know that's what you mean? It's definitely important to be now, I think, due to the fact that the working life has changed in the way that a lot of people work from home. Then the offices has now become to 4 days a week or 1 day a week and stuff. And as a dyslexic, I find it quite difficult to be not around people because I need to buzz off the ideas of people. I need to have that kind of a little bit of interaction. And it's about helping people understand, like in this program, I've understood what technology I could use. For many years, I didn't know you could have help with someone reading the text back to me. And I'm, because I'm a slower reader, but now and that's helped and things like that. So us being in our workplace is really important. So people, you can build a community within our workplaces as well, because we need that for people like us. We need to be able to have a safe place to talk about how we feel and stuff, and how we look at things differently and stuff like that. And that's okay to be different and use it as a superpower. Some companies still need a lot of work with internally to understand. And that's when we need to come together as this community has, and to build it within our companies if possibly can.
So you think that being an advocate, that the skills of being an advocate is actually really important in the workplace, and
definitely it's very important in there, for different it is because of new staff coming in and trying to support them, because a lot of jobs now are sort of recognizing about things, but they don't know really what to do. And that's where you need advocates in there, like you don't know that they can get support. I think that's, some companies are quite scared because they don't know that actually you as a company get support. And that's one thing that's helped me to understand, actually they get support as well. and about people already in the workplace that are maybe struggling. They can get what things that can help them just to improve, to help them do their job at a different level and that stuff, you know, and they're missing
Sharing
people.
information.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Maddie. I'm going to go on to Alicia now.
For me, it's I think about the most vulnerable in society, but as well as the not so vulnerable. Because I think even though you're not vulnerable, you still meet barriers and challenges. So I think advocacy covers as an advocate, you can cover a range of barriers or sections in people, and you can help a lot more people in society. Also, since COVID has come about, lifestyles had to be changed to be able to adapt, to function. And I think advocacy helps with that because it brings about clarity. And that's where the answer lies for a lot of people, because it can be quite confusing. And yeah, and it can best serve someone's needs regarding information, how to get people help from external sources, and yeah, that's it really.
Thank you. Sadia.
Sorry, Catherine, I'm just struggling with this question a little bit. Are you able to come back to me?
I'll come back to you. I'll rephrase it for you, and I'll just
Thank you.
okay. We're talking about the role of advocacy in society and how important it is. Okay.
Okay.
Whether we think it's important or not, you know, particularly since COVID, things have got quite tough for people actually. And how
Okay,
important
thank
is
you.
advocacy since COVID? All right, so I'll go to Becky now.
Yeah, I think it's really important. And I think, like, obviously a lot of people's mentioned with the COVID, but even before that, and just the workplace and letting people know, because through this group and everything, the access to work. If you promote that within the organisation, because sometimes the barrier is that organisations are worried, how much is it going to cost them? You know, what changes I'm going to have to put in place. And a lot of the time, it's not always a lack of willingness. It's the fear of the unknown. Whereas having an advocacy group or having somebody who's advocating saying, well, actually, you know, access to work, in the first 6 weeks, they'll cover the cost, you know, but you need to get that early at the interview stage. And don't be fearful to employ. I know there's obviously legal requirements, but you've still got unconscious bias and everything there. So you need to be making it clear. Don't be fearful to not employ somebody because they're neurodiverse. You know, they bring a lot to the table, and it's about changing mindsets, because there's still, especially because a lot of employers are a lot or more mature in years, so therefore they're thinking back to their time at school when, like, dyslexia obviously and neurodiverse wasn't really known about, and therefore it's about constantly educating people, because if your boss or the director doesn't understand it, then are they going to put things in place? Whereas I think there's not now. A lot of organisations are talking about it, they're wanting to get involved, but they don't understand how. So I think it's so important that we speak out and say, well, actually, you can do this. Or that lack of understanding where people think it's just a reading and writing issue, where it's not. It's so much more, and it's how the brain works, and we can offer so much more. And because often, like, a dyslexic brain thinks in a picture, we can break things down different. So it's all about emphasising all that and being able to give other people confidence. Just I'm taking a lot of time, so I'll just say this last bit. The other bit is, for instance, I was at a large networking event end of last year and spoke to a gentleman, and I just said, actually, I'm dyslexic, would you write me that email address down? So I was open, and I have the confidence because of the group to be open. And his words were to me was, can I ask you more questions? My daughter's just been diagnosed, and I explained where I work and what I do, and he shook my hand with such force and said, and I thought we were going to cry, it's like, you've given me confidence, he says, and made made me feel so much better that, you know, my daughter's going to be okay. And I'm like, okay, I'm not really quite sure where to take that, but being able to give that back, I think is great. So yeah, and I think, and that, thank you to the group. So thank you all. Sorry, I'll shut up.
Well, no, you shouldn't shut up. And the thing is that it's about increased knowledge, isn't it? But the thing that really came to my mind as you were talking, Becky, is the social model of disability, where the statement is nothing about us without us. And that's a good statement, actually, because what this advocate group is about is the voice of being neurodivergent, because you know what it's like rather than other people talking at you. And that's the strength of this, and the strength of the community, and also the confidence and the knowledge, the increased knowledge. So we'll go to Andre now.
Well, I think that advocacy is of vital importance, because in my experience, there's still kind of a lack of knowledge and understanding and awareness of how dyslexic copes every day. Like you were just saying, Becky, prior to this, the reading, a lot of it isn't reading or writing. It's like taking in that information and then processing. And sometimes it just takes us a bit longer, and people aren't aware of that. And I've found by explaining this to people, they're really a lot more aware. And the other side of it, I suppose, that I thought it was just me before I came to this group, you know, things like having feelings of overwhelm and anxiousness, and I wasn't sure it was just me for ages. And then I heard people talking about it in the group. And actually, from doing this group and attending and listening to people, and then listening to other people with dyslexia, I've actually started my business kind of on the back of that, helping people cope with the challenges that come with dyslexia, especially on that side of it, the anxiety and the feelings of overwhelm, and dealing with past issues that have come up with their dyslexia. So this group and the advocacy has been great for me. It's really given me the confidence to challenge and talk about it more than I ever would have done in the past.
Thank you, Andre. We're just going to read out Rose's statement in the chat. Advocacy can reinforce individual and collective confidence in a resourceful group. One that can all too often be misunderstood, feel isolated and underexpress and unfulfill themselves, and be of service to society. We are living in a social media culture that can also enjoy othering those deemed different. That's really powerful. Thank you. Okay, we're going to go to Andrew now.
Yeah, so for me, it's given me a lot of confidence, and actually, as a result of going to this group, being able to network and actually speak very much with a positive mindset. Outside of work, people will kind of like try and make you fit in. Well, actually, no, you don't need to. I've also been doing some ad hoc talks for a autism charity in the Harlow community, and some of them have said, oh, actually, I didn't realize I could also be dyslexic. And so some of them have actually gone ahead and had their assessment done locally, which has been great. I provide regular training for staff now regarding disability as part of my job, rather than just sitting there kind of just as being a trainer or study skills tutor, just kind of sitting there thinking, oh, I need to be quiet at team meetings. Now I tend to take up about a third of the time in a team meeting. So God help everyone on a Monday morning. But, you know, I feel able to talk and just be me, and I don't have to mask anymore, which is important.
Yeah, oh, totally. Yeah, so important. Sadia.
Yeah, so for me, it has been a bit of a game changer. I've come away following these 2 years of amazing sessions, listening to other advocates, and also researching for my own workshops. I've just come away equipped with a wide range of knowledge about my own condition, and also everyone else's experiences as neurodivergent people. And now I'm able to speak about being neurodivergent, particularly at work, with a lot of confidence, and I'm able to educate and inform others by using the right terminology, and to the point where they're coming to me for advice now. I was the one who introduced spoke about the social model during an equalities meeting, and whereas prior to that, my HR team had never heard of the social model of disability, and I've also stood up for myself when I have experienced injustice, such as not having reasonable adjustments put in place. I've spoken up for others through my union rep role as a equalities rep, and I speak about it at every opportunity now with a lot more confidence and a lot more knowledge, and I've as a result of speaking up, I was asked to be involved in the working group for developing the reasonable adjustments policy at work, which is now at the stage of going through quality check. And I've also been made chair of a disability inclusion group at work. So it's definitely an important role being an advocate. But I am very, very thankful for everyone around me, because I would not have progressed without everyone's input and learning from everyone else. So thank you.
Well, I think everybody is saying that you have to change minds. Let's go to Dee.
Yeah, I think kind of in general, thinking about, the importance of advocates in society. I think it shows that things are changing, and the value that we bring to workplace or education or whatever is starting to have, be more noticed, because LinkedIn has got now the category dyslexic thinking. So I think, yeah, we're getting somewhere with things. And yeah, I mean, I think that's it really. I think for myself, it's been useful. I've helped somebody who it wasn't to do with neurodivergence, but maybe I guess it's kind of some of the group rubbed off on me in terms of how I supported them, and just kind of really just kind of didn't give up, and trying to help them to kind of move things forward when I could see that they were in a really desperate situation. So I think it's all kind of being absorbed somehow. It's all being absorbed, and it's going out there into the into the universe, into the world, and we're helping people and doing helping to do some good and everything. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Dee, and everybody. We're going to the last part of our discussion, but this is this part where you have a chance to really talk about your achievements, actually, because I'm going to ask you, what do you think are key skills to be an advocate? And it would be lovely to hear about some of your achievements, because I know what you have been doing, and all of you have achieved so much. So it would be really nice, for the purpose of this recording and for Neurodiversity Week, for you to say something about your achievements, okay? It can be anything, all right? It can be a new job, it can be a project that you're managing, a course that you wish to go on, being part of a panel and doing more talks, starting a new way of working, okay, raising awareness in the workplace, okay? So I'm going to go to, let me think, Andrew. Andrew, can you tell us a couple of really important key skills that you think you've developed, and some of your your achievements.
Okay, well, I'll start with the achievements. So I have recently applied to be on a disability panel for Harlow Council to raise awareness about neurodiversity and general accessibility for disabled people in the community, which is important to me as a homeowner. And I've also been able to achieve my MA whilst grieving and supporting other people. So being an advocate helped me to learn other skills and being able to be resilient. And now I support other people in the community. I've been providing more training, and I feel that I'm more of an all-rounder now, and learn to adapt that mindset, and having more people around me that focus very much on the social model of disability. And as you said, Professor Nicola Martin from LSB, where I studied my MA, that nothing about us mentality is embraced in all.
Have you frozen, Andrew? I think he has.
Yeah, I think he has.
Andrew was talking about Professor Nicola Martin, who is based at South Bank University. And I think that is where his MA was. And of course, Nicola Martin is this amazing woman who has done an awful lot of research into autism and heads up a research department at South Bank. So she will know all about social model of disability. And Andrew has just completed his MA, which is a fantastic achievement. So let's go to Andre. Andre, you need to unmute.
Thank you. Sorry. So the skills I think you need, to have awareness, as you said, in the workspace, and also education to help educate people, a willingness to learn, and I think determination as well to get to where you want to get to as a dyslexic. Trying to think of any other key skills. Yeah, that's kind of it.
Your achievements that you.
I suppose, yeah. So being part of the group, I've learned that we've all got diagnosed at some stage, and the one thing I noticed was that we didn't have anything to help us cope with the emotional side of it. And through doing my talk on havening last year, I started then talking to people who are dyslexic and working with a few people just to help with the emotional side of it. So I've now niched out and I'm starting to work with dyslexic and ADHD entrepreneurs, and I'll help them in 3 areas. One is in helping them with their confidence. So not their confidence, their awareness, their past experiences, possibly that we've all had, I suppose, negative experiences growing up, dealing with those, then helping every day with resilience and just being able to cope with everyday stresses. And then the final bit is working with them through their timeline, managing their time. We know we can not be always great with time, so managing that, their boundaries to say no at times. We like to say yes to things. And the final bit then is their future success of their business and where they want to go with it. So it's just really made me aware of how, I'm now, I suppose, an entrepreneur myself. So I wanted to work with people to see how I can help them in their future.
That's fantastic. What a wonderful thing to say, and what a wonderful achievement as well. I'm going to go to Becky now. And can you tell us some of your skills that you've developed and some of your key achievements as an advocate?
Okay. Some of my skills, I would say definitely more the confidence, because even though I talk a lot, I think to be able to talk more confidently about being dyslexic, neurodivergent, talking about the related conditions and having coming from a sense of a knowledge, because I truly understand it, not just from my own view, but from like a collective view. So when I'm sharing with other people, I'm sharing about, it's not just my own personal experience. I say it's a wide group of people from different backgrounds who all have very similar experiences, but all have different experiences, and being able to share that, I find that is a key. Well, obviously sharing knowledge, a key thing. Having passion. I think having passion and knowledge, if you've got both of them two things, you go for. And a bit of determination, I think, also helps, you know. And sometimes telling that fear to go away, because there's always that little voice sometimes, should I, self-doubt, and we all have it. And sometimes you just have to say, no, I'm going to do it, and you know, and push myself forward regardless. And I think that helps. An achievement I think I've had over the last couple of years, and something I really quite enjoy. I work for, as many people know, I work for a very large engineering company. Over the whole group is over 3,000 staff, and I've been asked to do presentations to I sit on a panel, do an individual presentation, all about trying to share the knowledge, share my experiences, give people a bit more understanding. And from that, several different people's now come to me saying I give them the confidence to actually tell their line manager that they're ADHD, and now they've had assistance, things have been put in place. I had another gentleman who emailed me privately and said that the presentation I did actually makes him think that he should be open, and he hasn't even been able to tell his close, only his wife knows, but other close people, friends he's known for years, he can't tell because of the embarrassment of it. So being able to do that, and then the last thing, because my job role enables me to go up and down the country, I travel the length and the breadth of the UK. I've told people in Scotland, London, Wales, all about the group, because I say most weeks I'm traveling around and I'm often mixing with large amounts of people. So that opportunity I think is so valuable. But having a collective voice and being able to tell people about the group, and everybody has all these different experiences, and being able to share them with people, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Sorry, I'm waffling again, I will stop.
You're not waffling, and it's just fantastic that you're managing to network and get out there and talk about your experiences.
Thank you.
Alicia, your skills and achievements.
Okay, so for me, I've gained a lot of confidence in collaborating with different advocates that have different skill sets, and that brings about a different perspective, and also being able to listen, and I go by the saying, this is why we have 2 ears, so we can listen twice. So I do like to listen, and I give a response when I myself have clarity and not just speaking. Also it's nice being in groups where there's different people come from different sectors, and their approach, because sometimes you may think you're in a difficult situation, but just having that space, that safe space where you can speak to other people, can diminish that and can clear up your mind to be able to focus back on your whatever project, whatever. It's also, I've discovered a lot in myself, the uniqueness of what I've already learned from my transferable skills, because I do like the therapeutic in anything, as in like therapies, and understanding of the human body and how it can respond, and how you can, especially when it comes to stress management, that kind of thing. I think it's so important when people are battling those tough subjects, when they are already in a tough, challenging background themselves. And for myself, I would love to be able to embark on self-employment, because I do have barriers myself. However, I am navigating how to do it in the safest possible way, for myself. So thank you all very much for everything.
Maddie, achievements, skills and achievements.
Skills and achievement. Oh, so achievement is that I changed my job from one job to another. I won't say the bad news that they made me redundant at New Year's Eve, but that's another thing. So yeah, I was redundant in New Year, but one thing is what I've skills that I learned from this that made me much better is that I learned how to cope and not overstress, because I find being dyslexic, I become so overwhelmed and stressed, I can stress myself out more than anybody else can in my own head. But learning so many skills from being part of this group has helped me not do. So I've taken on like little projects of just doing some voluntary work and stuff like that. Has really helps get kind of skills. And then as well, I did complete a level 5 in business management course, so that was really helped as well, thinking I can achieve it, because when growing up was told you're not going to achieve very much because of being dyslexic, but then when you get the certificate you're like so them kind of things. And I think it was nice developing. Now I'm going to develop in my podcast. I had a bit of a break from it, but I'm definitely going to be going back to that to give me confidence in that, because in this group they give me confidence that I'm about speaking to different people, and the training I've had of saying like I read people, I understand that I can read people really well. And it's not just about the speaking word. When you're dyslexic, you read everything, the facial expressions, you read the body language, and it's been so helpful that to know that actually other people are like you as well, that you are unique, but then there's still other people that understand you at the same time. I live down south, so down south, not being rude, there's more white people than black people. And then when you're when you're dyslexic and then you're black and you're dyslexic, I'm very out of different. So it's really nice to be part of the group as well. The achievement of that there is other people. Nice to speak to people around that about their struggles, but understand that we're all in it together, and the support you can have, and you can talk to any of them, and and you hear them and learn from them as well. So skills is just developing, understanding people that I've read a lot of love. Change jobs, but moving on to a great future. I'm looking into doing self-employment now, so going looking into that more depth and stuff, and I feel much confident. This has given me the confidence to do the next step and stuff, it's not that's fair. I still have my dyslexic days, I call them those, and I just stress out going, I just can't do this, but I think everyone has those, and that's okay.
It sounds like you're looking at everything with fresh eyes.
Yeah, completely. It's really nice to have that, and understanding that you're not alone. And I think that's what happens, is that we always think we're alone, but there is more people. And I think it's about getting out there, because I've spoken to other people, and they're like, so yeah, I've got dyslexic or this, and I've got ADHD. I didn't say I already knew that, because as I said, I read people before they know that. I'm like, I think you've got ADHD because you keep doing something, and it's really good that then you have that conversation and stuff. So yeah, this is the skills that I've learned and the achievements I've learned. It's really great for the whole experience.
Well, if you ever need a reference, I'm very happy to provide one, Maddie. And
Thank you so much.
Well, it goes well if you're looking for a job or self-employment or whatever, goes and that means everybody as well in this group. Okay, we've been joined by Jennifer and Kenya. So Kenya and Jennifer know, we are recording this because this recording is going up during Neurodiversity Week. So we're being quite sort of structured about this, and we go around everybody and ask them a particular question, which is what we're doing at the moment. Jennifer, if you're with us.
I am.
Okay.
I am.
Right, Jennifer, can you quickly tell us what you think the skills are that you have developed recently and your achievement? And I know your achievement, and I know what you're going to say, so just say it. Yeah.
Well, you know, I don't like to say it, but I'll make myself talk about my achievements first by saying that without being part of this group, I definitely wouldn't have had the confidence to finish my MBA, where I did a project on neurodiversity, which gave me a great insight into how I work, what my strengths and also what my challenges are. Being part of the group, I realized that it's not just me who sometimes feels like an alien, it's actually so many other people. And so that got me looking wider than just myself. So thinking about how we communicate and how I communicate as a town planner. And then also thinking about the design of spaces and kind of the sensory impact, and even things like getting lost, I had no idea was a common thing to do with neurodiversity, and how just having good signage can make a difference. So being part of the group has been huge for my mental health and my confidence. And I haven't ever been part of a group where I felt kind of so safe. They talk about psychological safety, but I think it's really enabled us to be so honest with each other. That yeah, it's had a huge impact, and I've tried to bring that then to kind of workplaces and other groups that I'm in. So I'd really like to say thank you, because it's been brilliant.
Well, as with everybody, you've achieved so much. Rose, if you want to put in the chat anything, please do, and I'll read it out for you. I know that you're muted. Kenya, are you with us, and do you want to talk about your skills and your achievements in Rwanda? No, she's not. Okay.
I'm
Sadia,
here.
are you there, Kenya?
I'm here.
Do you want to talk about, we're talking about your skills as an advocate and your achievements, and this is being recorded, okay? So if you could, just in a few minutes, just say something about your Rwanda project, actually.
Oh, thank you very much for the invitation. For those that don't know, I am in Rwanda currently, and we're 2 hours ahead, and I'm in a moving vehicle just in case I get cut out.
I think we got that with Kenya.
Thank you. So in terms of my skills, I think like others, my skill in terms of public speaking, being able to talk about neurodiverse conditions, how they impact me as an individual, and how they impact others around me, and especially those who I come into contact with in my role as a counsellor and an entrepreneur in Rwanda. More specifically, setting up a project around creating awareness of what some of the indicators are for neurodiverse conditions in education and the workplace. And this is something new. Rwanda is familiar with autism, but not with dyslexia, ADHD, and other similar conditions. So using the support of the group, which has given me so much confidence, I talk about the indicators, which I've also gathered from other members within the group. Just hearing them talk about their experiences has broadened my knowledge around a number of neurodiverse conditions outside of mine. I've got a diagnosis of dyslexia, and I've also recently identified I have dyspraxia, and possibly on the spectrum for autism in terms of sensory issues. So those are my skills. In terms of achievement, I have set up a project that supports individuals from education all the way through to employment and long life learning around what neurodiverse conditions look like. Trying very hard not to use terms that would cause any concern. In an African country, if you call something a condition, if you call something a disability, they feel that the family or the individual will become ostracized. So I've started to create some podcasts where people just talk about their experience of dropping out of the education system because they weren't understood, and they themselves didn't know that they had different learning abilities. That's what I'm calling it now. So that's, I suppose, another achievement, being able to think of language that would be easily accepted within Rwanda without putting me in any trouble of creating a hostile environment for individuals and families. So those, I suppose, those are my achievements. But a lot of it really is staying firm to the group, because with my dyslexia, I can be everything and everywhere. So being focused and staying with the group is also another achievement for me. And I'd like to thank, all my fellow members of the advocacy program, as well as yourself, Catherine, for being there as a support. Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, I think it's an achievement in itself that you're still with us and you're in Rwanda doing all this amazing work. So, and of course, there's a different time, isn't there? As you said, it's two hours later in the day for you.
Yes, yes.
So, thank you very much for joining us, Kenya, and telling us about your amazing project in Rwanda. Sadia, do you want to talk something about your skills and achievements? You told us a bit.
Yes, so I'll start with skills. So there's a few. The first one is I've learned how to self-reflect, or I've been doing more self-reflection for the past 2 years. And as my confidence has grown, I've started to focus on what matters most, and that's my strengths. So I'm focusing less on these perceived weaknesses. And I'm also able to speak from different perspectives, having listened to all the other advocates over the past 2 years and learned from them, has really informed me, and my breadth of newfound knowledge over the past year and a half. And as a result of self-reflection as well, I'm showing a lot more compassion towards myself. I'm not always going to be flawless, and my disability traits will show up here and there, but it's okay. I'm telling myself it's okay. Sometimes during, like even today when I was just leading a presentation, my brain just froze, but I said that's okay, that's me, and I'll just get up and carry on and persevere. Other skills, my presentation and public speaking skills have improved a little bit. That's also come with growing confidence. Just to focus on presentation skills. I've learned to. I've done about 3, I think 2 or 3 presentations for WDFDA and for the advocacy program in general. And each time I feel my presentation, as in the slides, have got better. I do cringe a little bit when I think about my earlier presentations. I'm more kind of considerate of how other people will perceive the information on the slides, and I've learned to simplify. So that's definitely a practical skill I've learned. And yes, I did mention some of my achievements before. I do apologize. But to just pinpoint one of them that really means a lot to me is just being selected as chair for the Disability Inclusion Network at work. And that was really personal, because it came as a result of something that was actually quite negative. I put in a complaint, so a negative was turned into a positive, and so my points were appreciated, and I was asked to join in and help the organization to do things and approach disability and neurodiversity in a more inclusive and knowledgeable way. So yes, that's been the main thing for me. Thank you.
Brilliant, thank you. That's fantastic. I am going to read out what Rose has written in the chat, and then we're going to go to Dee. And then we're going to open it up to a sort of open discussion, okay, to end this recording about the strengths of being an advocate. This is Rose. I've made a point of lightly speaking about neurodivergence to medics and health workers while they are explaining important info in a lot of appointments in the last 15 months. So you've been advocating about the neurodivergence to medics. That's a hard call, actually, Rose. You had a small heart attack in November 22, and especially encouraging them to be slower in how they approach you, I think is what you're saying. So that's an achievement. You've also had another achievement in that you have kept being resilient about a case that you have with your landlord about living conditions, about difficulty in living conditions, and you've held them to account. You've dealt with some quite bad mistakes made by your own solicitor, and you've been very resilient about it, and you've kept going. You are saying here that you worked on your slow cooking book every single day, Monday to Friday too, even if only for 10 minutes. I'm definitely in part thinking about the material through a neurodivergent lens. So that's obviously, that's a bit of light reading. Okay, over to Dee.
Thank you. I think I've probably gained things like improved listening skills. I think it's kind of helped build me up to know that I can ask really, I can ask questions that are really insightful. I can see things, I can question things, I can come up with things that are useful, interesting, beneficial, etc. So see things maybe at a deeper level than I did before, or helps me to now know that that's how I think. Maybe I didn't really realize it before. It's given me a lot of knowledge about dyslexia, neurodivergence, how to cope with things, in the workplace, in education, in life in general. And it's given me, a lot of, and in that as well, it's given me a lot more understanding of people and conditions and, life and how we kind of cope with life, so to speak. And so in terms of achievements, I guess I'm kind of getting out there a bit more in my local borough, and I'm finding that really interesting. And it's giving me kind of the courage to go up to people and network and be part of things and start to kind of have involvement in what goes on in the local area and be part of that as well. So that's good. And then I've been doing my project and Dyslexia Feel Good Fun Day, interactive arts-based event. And so being part of this group has helped with that in lots of ways as well.
And it's a major achievement because it's an Arts Council grant, and that's really hard to get, Dee. So you've done really well.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Thank you.
done really well. And kept going with it too. Well, thank you, everybody. I mean, that's so uplifting and impressive, actually. And everybody is doing such different things as well. So it just proves the point that advocacy is really important to our society, not only individually and our own well-being and our self-development, but to society too. And as a community of neurodivergent people, it's really important to be able to advocate for ourselves and others. I'm just going to throw in the mix a very last question, which is open to discussion, because we've gone slightly over with this recording. I just want to have your thoughts about leadership, okay? And I'll just throw this in. My feeling is that neurodivergent people are quite good at inclusive leadership. I know it's a very, very broad brush statement and very general statement to say that, But the reason for me saying that is because I think that because we have to overcome so much often and understand so much in terms of and have quite good emotional intelligence because we have to understand so much, and that makes us some quite insightful leaders often. Not all of us, obviously, because everybody's different, you know. But I have noticed that, you know, some of our best leaders are neurodivergent. And those are the people who aren't autocratic, which means sort of being a bit of a dictator, but they take people with them. I just want to throw that in the mix and get some of your thoughts on that statement.
I think you're absolutely right. I'll chip in first and then I'll let everybody else start. And I think that is so true, because if you look at a lot of like the entrepreneurs, for instance, as well, and I think, like I say, because they bring people along, and actually I do think when you are neurodivergent, you're happy to listen to other people's ideas and you sort of take everything on board, and you want people to give you more ideas, and let's discuss and let's share and let's take in. And it's not because, like I said, most neurodiverse people have struggled, and like Maddie mentioned earlier on, over like when she was younger, and I think a few other people mentioned, I know me as well, we understand how hard it is. So we've done the hard graft, we've gone through the struggles, so therefore I think we're more, I think I can pronounce it right, empathetic. I think I've got that word right. And I think that's what makes us better leaders, because we're not dictating. We don't think we've got all the answers. In fact, we pretty much know we don't have all the answers, and therefore we want people to share theirs with us, and we're willing to listen, whereas a lot of leaders don't always listen. They ask you, but they might ask the question, but you can tell they're not really listening and don't want the answer. Whereas good leaders actually want people and want to empower people along with them and encourage them to grow. Because if you've got everybody with ideas around you, then you're a much better organization. And that's why a lot of the leading companies now are actively seeking neurodiverse people, because we bring that to the table. But you only get that by good managers and good people above you to allow you to express and think differently. And I can say from personal experience, I've had some very good managers who have embraced my different way of working and not forced me to be rigid and work with procedures that are set for people that don't think in the same way like a neurodiverse brain does. And then I've had the others who have insisted that I spend most of my time writing and documenting. And then I'm like, but I feel like you're suffocating me. So I think that's the difference between why we make better leaders, because we understand, don't suffocate your colleagues, your friends, or anybody else. You know, bring them on, let them be themselves, and they'll do a lot better for you. Like they say, if you motivate somebody to do something, they'll do a lot better than the work for you. You try and beat them with a stick, they might do it, but they're going to do it begrudgingly, aren't they? Pretty much.
Absolutely. And advocacy skills are part of that, aren't they? Because it's about a collective support network.
Yeah, exactly.
Does anybody else want to say anything about these thoughts?
I want to say something. It's about my self-proven reflection upon the advocacy group over the past 2 years, since 2002 to 2023, although I wasn't an advocate in 2023. What the proven part for me is that it's relieved the fear of the unknown. For me, especially embarking on self-employment, and I'm feeling more empowered to be able to take those steps, having given my barriers that I know myself, but also how to advocate to other people my barriers, and to get an understanding, even if they don't understand, how I'm still empowered to still move forward in my chosen field. So I think on reflection, the recordings are like a gift to the world that keeps giving. And I always like a situation where it's a win-win situation. And that's what I strive for. Yeah, So that's my thoughts.
Thank you, Alicia. And that's really important for inclusive leadership, isn't it? To be able to strive and to be able to motivate yourself and others. Anybody else got any thoughts of inclusive leadership? Jennifer? Hi there, Jennifer. Okay.
Sorry, it just takes me a while to press on my phone.
Okay.
I completely agree. I think it gives us an insight into how it feels when we are when things are too rigid, just as Becky has said. So I can't think of the words, but I really think it's important. And actually, having done the advocacy program, I'm struggling when I see exclusive leadership styles which aren't inclusive, but I haven't worked out how to change those attitudes, because I do think you need to be part of something like this advocacy program to really reflect and listen and sort of understand the impact of trying to control other people and things like that. So yeah, I just agree with what everyone else has said, really.
It's got a major impact, hasn't it? Controlling. All right. Rose has said, a sense of humour and humility is essential for effective leadership. Learning from mistakes and helping others to learn from mistakes is key to development. And neurodivergent people have had to learn the hard way, which usually creates a healthy sense of humour. That's quite right. A sense of humour helps everyone feel included. Not being flippant, though having a light touch, which is nicely said. I'm going to people who've actually joined a bit later on, so they've got a bit more of a voice. Kenya, do you want to say something about inclusive leadership?
Yes, I think I concur with what all my advocate members have been talking about, namely bringing people on board, understanding how others think, and not putting themselves out as having all the answers, and also thinking differently. And that's one of the things that I enjoy doing as a systemic psychotherapist, which is creating space to hear other voices, not just mine, but to invite others to talk about their experiences and how they're coping with their newfound neurodiverse conditions. Like you said, some of us were diagnosed at a later stage. So when it comes to working with a team, I'm always curious about their abilities, how they're different or the same, and how we can work together to share ideas and share views. So there's no one way. There are many ways. There are many perspectives on looking for solutions. So that's one of the things that I would like to add.
Thank you. I was just thinking, Kenya, you're not driving, are you?
No, I'm not driving. I'm in the back seat,
Okay.
and my driver's kindly allowed me to keep the lights on.
Thank you very much. Has anybody got any final words? Anybody got any final words about inclusive leadership, or just final words for this advocate recording? Hello, Andrew, you're back.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say thank you to everyone and for this opportunity. And it's been great for us all to be able to kind of share lived experiences and all move forward together as a collective. So I'd like to thank you, Catherine, and everyone for a really enjoyable time. So thanks, everyone.
Well, and that's a lovely thing to say, Andrew. Okay, has anybody got a final word before we wrap up? Okay, that's a really nice finishing comment, Andrew. Thank you so much. So as we said, this recording's going to go out during Neurodiversity Week alongside some of your talks, and it will be a fantastic way to profile advocacy and all the key points that you have made during this discussion. And I think we can sum up and say that, advocacy clearly works. It works to lessen isolation. It works to make us feel part of something, because often we've felt like outsiders as neurodivergent people. It improves our skills. we share knowledge, and we get greater confidence and resilience. And we know from our conversation just now that actually advocacy is key to inclusive leadership, because those skills of emotional intelligence, sharing, negotiating, communicating well, and listening are all part of inclusive leadership. So thank you. I think we should congratulate all of you, celebrate you all, and thank you so much for your input to this really valuable project, which has been funded by the National Lottery and has been in partnership with the Waltham Forest Dyslexia Association with Achievability, two charities who work with adult neurodivergent people in a positive way. So thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Catherine.
Thank you.